Okay. This is very nice details have been given over here, and some practical explanation has been given over here. What the writer actually wants you to learn over here, he is trying to give you some practice of it. Okay, he will explain it through the practice so that you get it easily. Now, first let us see what do we have over here. Building stories and information texts, like how to build a story or information text, or the argumentative essay or any essay. It's like commonly, you can say commonly, like how to link basically the idea which he is sharing over here on this page under this heading is to link the paragraphs with each others. Whatever you are writing, you divide the content into different paragraphs, but there should be a link between them. Let us look at the text over here. Building stories and information texts. Just as the sentences in a paragraph must be in the right order, so must the paragraphs in a longer piece of writing. You saw there was an exercise in the workbook where 8 sentences were given to you, and he asked you to rearrange them to make a proper paragraph. And it means that the order of the sentences, a proper order of the sentences in a paragraph is a must. It's very important. Okay, to make the meaning clear of the paragraph. Okay, you can easily explain something if you write the sentences in proper order. Okay, this is a common thing which you can easily understand, and you already know this. Okay, and we have done a practice of one practice of it in one exercise in the workbook. She says that as the order of the sentences is important for a paragraph, similarly, for any story or any topic or any essay or in any article, the paragraphs which you write should be in proper order. Today onwards, you learn one more thing about rechecking. When you finish writing, you recheck, reread your essay to check the grammar mistakes or the spelling mistakes. Today onwards, you will reread and check a third thing also. That will be the order of the paragraphs. Like your paragraphs in proper order. Are they in proper order or not? There is a logical connection between them or not, and how to find the connection between them, we are going to learn now. He says on the book that look carefully at Beowulf the mighty hero and answer these questions. There are very simple questions, very simple questions, and he's asking you to find out the answers from the story on page number 104, the previous page. Okay, if you turn over and go back onto page number 104, you have to answer from there. And the questions are very simple. Okay, let us discuss the questions first. Question number one is that how many paragraphs are there in the story?
4.
There are 4 questions, 4 paragraphs. That's it. Okay. Now, in question number 2, he's asking you to count the sentences in each paragraph and tell the
Five.
number.
5.
In every no, tell me that in paragraph number 1 we have this many number, and how many sentences are there in paragraph number 2, 3, and 4. Count all the sentences in every paragraph and let me know. How many sentences are there in paragraph number 1?
5.
5.
5 in paragraph number 1. In number 2?
5.
5.
Uh-huh. Count again.
6.
6.
6 in paragraph number 2. Very good. And in number 3,
4. 4.
2.
look at the sentences.
2.
Remember, sentence ends at a full stop. Count them again.
Sir, 2.
2 sentences are there in paragraph number 3. And how many in number 4? The last paragraph.
2.
4.
Huh?
Sir, 4 sentences.
4.
There are 4 sentences in the fourth one. Okay. Okay. Now, question number 3. This is very important question. Question number 3. How do the first 2 or 3 words in each paragraph link to the one before? How do the first 2 or 3 words, like words in each paragraph link to the one before? Let me discuss this question with you. Open your this story view of the mighty hero and look at the things which I'm going to explain. How will you answer this question? He says that you have to look at the initial 2 or 3 words of every paragraph. For example, some paragraph number 1 is starting with Beowulf lived into the fathomless water. That is the start of the paragraph number 1. Paragraph number 2 starts when he came to. 3 starts with bare hands. The fourth paragraph starts with it should have been the end. Now, he's asking about all the initial words, okay, 3-4 initial words, and find out how do they link the paragraph of these words and the paragraph before them. So we don't have a paragraph before paragraph number 1, so we will not look at the initial words of the first paragraph because we don't have any paragraph before that to link it with that paragraph. We will move to the initial words of the second paragraph when he came to. Listen to me carefully. We will find out. Remember that these words at the start of this paragraph number 2, when he came to, the first point about them is that they are linking both paragraphs. Which paragraphs? Paragraph number 2, where these words are present, and they are linking this paragraph number 2 to the paragraph before it, the previous paragraph, that is paragraph number 1. How? There are 2 points about these initial points, 3 points. The first thing that they link two paragraphs. Second thing is that when you look at them, use your sense, try to feel it. You feel as when he came to. This is telling us something about the upcoming information. You feel that some information is coming up in the next lines of the same paragraph, and you look at this one and try to use your sense and find out as you feel that when you read them out of the meanings of these words, we get that some information is coming up in the next lines. When he came to, okay, it is telling us about the future information which is coming up in the next line. Look at the start of the third paragraph. The initial words are with bare hands. These words are this phrase, with bare hands. It tells us that something is going to be done by him. So it says with bare hands. If you look into the meanings of these words or this phrase, you feel that something is being done with the bare hands. And what did he do? We have to read the upcoming part of the sentence and the next sentences to find out what happened with the bare hands. This is one thing. And if you look at the last paragraph, the initial words are, it should have been the end. It means something happened before that is not the end. What is the end is coming up now after this phrase. Do you understand this? Like we get a sense out of these words, the initial words of every paragraph, that we get an insight into the upcoming information. Like what is going to be discussed in the next lines. So we get an idea, we get a sense out of these words. They are telling us that some information is coming up. What kind of information is coming up in the next sentences, upcoming sentences. Upcoming information is we get an insight into the upcoming information. Okay, did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
Like you feel that this type of information is coming up, like with bare hand. With bare hands is telling us that he is going to tell about something which someone did with bare hands. It should have been the end, the last paragraph. It should have been the end. It is telling us that the end is coming up now. What happened at the end of this story is coming up now. It has not, the end has not been discussed yet, but the end is coming up now. When you find, did you get this? All the boys? Anyone who got confused about any this second point? Did you get it? That some
Yes,
words,
sir.
some words or phrases at the start of the paragraph tell us about the upcoming information in the next part of the same sentence or the few sentences of the paragraph. What kind of information is coming? So whenever you find, it can be one word that can tell us, or it can be a group of words or a phrase. Whenever you find a word or a group of words or a phrase which tells you about the upcoming information is called discourse marker. What do we call it? We call it discourse marker. So we have three discourse markers in this story. One at the start of second paragraph, the one at the start of third paragraph, and one at the start of the fourth paragraph. Usually you find them at the start of the paragraph. And I know that while writing many essays, you have already used discourse markers. For example, this is a discourse marker on the other hand, and you have used it many times. On the other hand, it tells us that some other thing is coming up in the next lines. Some other information is coming up. So on the other hand, like some more information or the opposite information is coming up. So this is the second point about this, that we call them discourse markers. The third thing that is also very, very important about them is that if you look at the meanings of them, you feel that they are creating a link between both paragraphs. How? Because they are telling us about the upcoming information and they give us a sense that something has happened before in the previous paragraph. And this idea creates, or this thought creates a link between them, that there is a link between them. For example, if you look at this, the last paragraph, it should have been the end. When it is telling us that when it is giving us an insight about the upcoming information that the end is coming up, at the same time it reveals that something has happened that could be counted as the end, but that is not the end. Okay, it is telling us that the end is coming up, but at the same time it reveals that something has happened before in the previous paragraph which could be the end, which could be counted and counted which could be counted as the end, but that's not the end. Look at this one. It should have been the end. It should have been what it that happened before. It should have been the end, but the sense is that that thing which happened in the previous paragraph is not the end. The end, actual end is coming up after this. This is discourse marker. It is telling us about the future, but at the same time, it connects both paragraphs, paragraph number 4 and the 3. Look at the start of paragraph number 3. With bare hands. With bare hands is telling us that something is going on in the previous paragraph, but now he's going to do something else with bare hands. With bare hands. It is discourse marker because it is telling us about the upcoming information, but at the same time, it is linking both paragraphs, the second paragraph and third paragraph. If you look at the start of the second paragraph, when he came to, when is a part of this phrase. So this phrase, just because of when, is telling us that that something has happened before when he came to. Okay, some information is coming up in the next lines. Okay, this is a discourse marker because it tells us, it reveals that something is going to happen now. When he came to, after his coming, something happened, and that is in upcoming lines. But something has happened before also. We get this sense out of this phrase also. So the discourse markers, such discourse markers, which create a link between two paragraphs are called, such discourse markers are called connectives as discourse markers. Not all discourse markers create a link, but when you get a sense out of them that they are creating a link between two paragraphs, those discourse markers are known as connectives as discourse markers. Did you get me?
Yes, sir.
Any idea or anything? Like, you have to do a lot of practice to keep it in your mind. And you have to make a lot of practice and use the discourse markers again and again intentionally to make them a habit out of your writing. Otherwise, it looks easier right now because I'm explaining and you are listening only. But when you will apply this in your writing without making practice, you will not be able to apply it. You will use it wrongly. or you will forget about it. So the practice is very important. You can read some more information on the internet about the discourse markers. So that is your responsibility. You should read, work on the discourse markers, find out some examples of them, okay, and think about them. Try to create the get the sense how is it revealing the upcoming information. That's why we are calling it a discourse marker. And is it a connective as discourse marker? Is it creating a link between two paragraphs or not? This is your responsibility now to work on in this way. Okay. That's it. The time is up. So you guys are supposed to. You can leave now if you want to.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
We will-
Happy, sir.
Yeah. We will continue. We will continue the same topic tomorrow, inshallah.
Okay, sir. Happy, sir.
Okay, boys. Take good care of yourselves. Have a nice day. Goodbye and Allah Hafiz.